what's up and welcome, I'm the one and only West Coast King, and welcome back to Major League 90, where we are talking Major League Soccer, mostly. With the US and Mexico having just played, we're going to throw a little bit of international flavor into this one as well. But we are going to start off with talking some Major League Soccer. So the first couple things that I want to talk about here are some transfer rumors. And it is, it's not the MLS offseason, we still are in the middle of the playoffs, but it's almost transfer window time again in January, and there's a couple of players at Manchester United specifically that Jose Mourinho are looking to offload possibly in January. So let's talk about them and their possible destinations inside the MLS. The first one, and the more likely of the two rumored players moving to the MLS, is Bastian Schweinsteiger. Obviously on the outs at Manchester United. Hasn't, I don't think, made an appearance for them all season long in any competition, if I'm not mistaken. He was actually training with the youth squad at one point. It's just, I don't know what Jose Mourinho's doing there. I'm not going to start talking about Manchester United because I could talk about that situation all day. But let's talk about Bastian Schweinsteiger and possibly moving to the Chicago Fire in the MLS. It's an interesting move for Bastian Schweinsteiger, moving from, he's gone from Bayern, one of the biggest teams in Europe, to Manchester United. I don't know if I want to call them one of the biggest teams in Europe, but at one point they were. I don't even know if they're one of the biggest teams in England at this point, but they're still a massive, massive team. To moving to the worst team, the team that's finished bottom of the league 2 straight years in the MLS. I don't know about that one for Bastian. Just from Schweinsteiger's standpoint, I don't know if that's the right move for him, but he seems pretty enthusiastic about it. He seems okay with it. So, if he's going to come here, and obviously he's going to have something to prove, right? Any player that moves over from Europe to the MLS with something to prove always seems to work out very, very well. Look at Sebastian Giovinco. He moved from Juve with something to prove, and he's torn the league apart for 2 straight seasons. Drogba, when he first came over from Chelsea, scored 11 goals in 10 games for Montreal and led them to the playoffs. A lot of those players with something to prove always seem to work out. And I think Schweinsteiger would definitely fall into that category. But, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. Is Schweinsteiger a good fit at Chicago? Well, I don't think it could hurt Chicago. Actually, it can't hurt Chicago. It can't actually get any worse than what they are. But would you like to see Schweini at Chicago? I personally would. I think I would like to know what kind of impact he would have on that team. I think it would be a really interesting move. And the second player rumored to be moving from Manchester United, and this one is more of a rumor and less of, a possibility. And it's, again, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I talked about this move a long time ago, but way back before the season started, that he was rumored to be moving to LA. And at the time I said I didn't necessarily like that move for LA as a team. Obviously, Zlatan is Zlatan, and he could improve any team in the MLS with maybe the exception of Toronto. I'm not sure if he'd do any better than Giovinco's doing. But he would improve any other team in the MLS regardless of who's already there. But I still don't think that LA's the right team for him. I think LA need to transition into a new era. I do. I think they brought in way too many veteran players, over-the-hill players, past their prime, and it's drugged them down a little bit. Steven Gerrard just hasn't really panned out there. I love Stevie G, and I hate to criticize him, but honestly, I think he was one of the players that didn't come over with any motivation or anything to prove. I think he just kind of was done after he left Liverpool, and every chance he's gone back to Liverpool, and I think that's where he's going to end up going in this offseason. He's going to end up at Liverpool in some capacity. But also Ashley Cole, Nigel de Jong didn't even last a full season there. I just think they need to transition and let those younger players, the Boateng and Leggett, I think those guys are big players for them, and they could grow into stars if they're allowed to. But if they keep bringing in veteran players, it's never going to happen. So I don't know if I want to see Zlatan there or not. Obviously, that's probably where he's going to want to go. I mean, Zlatan in Hollywood, it's a match made in heaven. It's perfect, kind of. But for the LA Galaxy team, I don't think it's the right move. And there's a couple of teams I don't think would be a good move. I said way back when I first started talking about this, Seattle would be a good destination for him. The biggest home crowd in MLS. Honestly, I don't think he fits in Seattle either. I'd much rather see Jordan Morris continue to grow and career his upward career path that he started out with in Seattle. He looks like he's going to be a fantastic player. Zlatan would obviously cripple that growth. I'd rather see Jordan Morris continue to be the star striker in Seattle. And a couple of other teams don't really need big strikers either. I think the best fit for him, out of all the teams, just looking at the teams that made the playoffs that could possibly be destinations, I think that DC United makes a lot of sense. They need a star striker. Now, I don't think that they've necessarily been a team that's proven to go out and spend money on big designated players, because they really haven't. But I think if there was ever a time to splurge and bring in a big name player, why not do it on Zlatan? This is the perfect opportunity. Zlatan could make them a legitimate title contender. They already have a very, very good team in DC. They're missing that star striker up top. And as good as Patrick Mullins has been for them after they brought him in from NYCFC, he's not Zlatan. Nobody is Zlatan. And Zlatan would definitely make them a title contender. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are on that. Where would you like to see Zlatan go? What team makes the most sense for him in the MLS? And the other topic I wanted to talk about in the MLS today really got to me. This one really got on my nerves a lot. And it has to do with Sebastian Giovinco. Not even the fact that he was snubbed for the MVP this season. I don't understand how he wasn't even a finalist for the MVP. In my opinion, hands down runaway MVP. There's nobody better than Giovinco in the MLS. He's just absolutely fantastic player. He's the best player. He's the best player in the league. I don't know how that's even debatable at this point, but he wasn't even a finalist for the MVP. But we're not even talking about that. What we're talking about is Giovinco being snubbed once again for a call-up to his national team. Now, I could understand if Italy had some great strikers, some great attacking players to call up that were better than Giovinco, that were in fantastic form, and they just didn't necessarily have a spot for him. But I don't really think that that's actually the case here. I think he could have helped them in the Euros. I truly do believe that they could have gotten a little bit further, had a little bit more options at least, and had the ability to attack in different ways if they had brought Giovinco. They were missing that energy up front, in my opinion, watching their games. They needed someone like Giovinco, and they didn't bring him. And that hurt them, in my opinion. I don't know if he would have put them over the top and they could have gone on to win the Euros or anything, but I'm saying he would have been an asset to that team. And now this new coach for Italy, his name is Giampiero, I can't even say his name, Giampiero Ventura. He's saying that he's not calling Giovinco up because he believes he plays in a league that doesn't count for much. So because Giovinco plays in the MLS, he's not worthy of a call-up to Italy. How does that make any sense at all? If a player is good, a player is good. What difference does it matter what league he plays in or where? Why? Why does that make any difference? Giovinco would be an asset, in my opinion. At this point, the way he's playing, he'd be an asset to any national team, regardless of what country it's from. It doesn't matter. He's that good right now. He's one of the hottest players in the world. He's just scoring goals for fun. Yes, I know it's in the MLS, and the MLS isn't like a top team in Europe, where there are a top league in Europe, where the defenses are incredible. I mean, he's not going up against the top defenders in the world. I know that, but still, the way he's playing and his confidence right now, he's at least worth a call-up, at least worth a look. Put him in that national team, call him into a camp, something. Give him a shot to prove that he can still be an asset to your team. I don't know how you can just dismiss a player for playing in the MLS. It really, really doesn't make much sense. And by the way, just so we're clear, a large portion of the United States national team, at least I would say half, if I'm not mistaken, play in the MLS. In the last 2 World Cups, the United States have gotten further than Italy in both of them. Both times, Italy have been knocked out in the group stage. Both times, the United States have gotten to the knockout rounds. So tell me which league is not worthy of a player. That just doesn't make sense to me at all. Man, that topic really gets to me, you know? It really upsets me that there's still this stigma around the United States that we're a bad soccer nation. And in the past, maybe that had been true. Maybe we're not really worth a look. Maybe we're not worth the time of those bigger nations. But recently, we've held our own. We've gone up against the bad boys, and we've gotten some pretty decent results. We got beat by Germany in the last World Cup. Champion Germany, by the way, went on to win the title. We got beat by them 1-0. I mean, we held our own in that game. We can go up against these guys and not get absolutely run over. I think we're at least deserving of some kind of respect. And speaking of the national team, that is the last topic I wanted to talk about today. And this recent result did not really help my case much. So yesterday, in case you missed it, the United States played Mexico in a World Cup qualifying match in Columbus, Ohio, in the heart of the United States, and they lost. They lost 2-1, and I'm not happy about it. So the United States comes out. They come out with a 3 at the back formation. What the hell, man? Why? Why switch that? Why make that change? I understand making tactical changes in the midfield or up top to exploit some different situations. The one thing I'm never a fan of is changing the back. Don't mess with the back. The back is the foundation for the whole team. If you start making changes there, the whole thing could crumble. And it did early on against Mexico. The 3 at the back formation was an awful decision. Mexico came out and hammered us early, went up 1-0, and from there on out, we had to play catch up. And it's another example of a horrific tactical decision by Jurgen Klinsmann. Time and time again, I have said he makes some bad tactical decisions. He is a bad game manager, a bad game coach. I always give him credit where credit is due. He's fantastic at motivating players and teaching players that come into the national team often move on to bigger and better things at club level. He knows how to coach a player up outside of a game. In the games, I think he makes bad decisions. Time and time again, just bad decisions. Whether it's squad selection or tactical decisions in games, those types of mistakes are starting to pile up. And at some point, we're going to have to compare the results that he's gotten for this country, which have been some big results, some big wins in the World Cup, and big results in the World Cup, and compare that to the results that we haven't gotten. Those results are starting to outweigh the good that he has done. And if something doesn't change, I'm not saying he should be fired right now, but if something doesn't change and we continue to lose big games, especially on home soil, I think that there is going to have to be a change made. And it sucks because I do see the growth of the players under Jurgen Klinsmann, but as a team, as the United States national team, I don't think we're growing at this point. We need to start winning. We have to take the next step forward, and if he's not going to get us there, then maybe it would be time to make a change. And again, maybe it's not right now, but at some point, we do need to make that change. And for the rest of that game, like I said, we were playing catch up. We did go on to get the equalizer in the second half, and in the end, what lost us that game was a lack of focus. Just a late game corner and a lack of focus allowing Marquez to run free front post. You can't do that. And the players knew that. They owned it to their credit. They absolutely knew they made a mistake. Every one of them said it. But that doesn't help us now. Where was that when you knew that was going to happen? Marquez has made that run, scored that goal 1,000,000 times in his career, and yet you let him do it. I don't know if that's just bad coaching again, not reminding them that on these corners, watch this run, or if that was just the players losing focus and they screwed it up. I don't know, but that was a disappointing result and a tough one to swallow. I just want them to get those results, especially at home. We need to win these World Cup qualifying games on home soil. So that is all that I have to talk about today. As always, leave me your thoughts, comments, feedback down in the comments section below. I'd love to see what your guys' thoughts are on all of these topics I've talked about here today. And we will come back with another Major League 90 once the MLS playoffs resume on November 22nd. I don't know if the next episode will be the day after. Hopefully it will be, unless I'm actually in Seattle to watch the Sounders play Colorado in the playoffs. But we will have another episode at some point after the conference finals start. So that's it for this one. If you did enjoy it, make sure to let me know by leaving a like below. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you when we come back for some more Major League 90.